from the one position, all right? So the most important thing that you can do, get an anchor or control position on both fighters, all right? This immediately eliminates a lot of what they can do against you. And know, when I talk about what the one person should do, think in your head, this is probably also a principle of what the two should not let the one do, right? But anyway, immediately an anchor or control point on both people, all right? If Craig's over here, boom, grabbing him, and I'm sitting here, he's like, I can do a lot of stuff to Craig, and it's not great, right? If Craig instead gets a control point on both of us, now suddenly, even if we're not pulling on him, it's the same thing that we were talking about before, where I'm his control this way, he's control that way, and now Craig is stable, all right? Craig can even use Adam or me as a rail and to throw the other one, and what sucks is like, Adam is left with the situation of like, well, I could fall down and then Craig wouldn't have a rail and he'd just die with the 2-on-1, or I could stay standing and Brett goes down. And 90% of the time, in that situation, Adam should probably fall down. He never will. He never will. He will stay standing, I will fall, then Craig will toss Adam and he'll keep walking, because that's how you win the 1v2 every fucking time. Like, that's how it goes. Adam might as well have just fallen and been like, well, we fucked up, and fell over, and at least Craig would have gone down. But it's not going to happen. It's not how it's going to play out.
The chain rail throw?
Yes. Yep. So along that thing, it's just using both people against each other. This goes along with finding an anchor point on both people, but one thing that you'll start learning is even once he's anchored on both of us, one of us is going to be like, I'm going to rip this dude's head down, right? But as long as he's holding Adam tight, if I go like, oh, I'm ripping this guy's head down, I'm pulling Adam, right? Now, if Craig is feeling good about his rail throw, I'm just powering that shit up for him, right?
You're helping.
Right? So if the one person can learn how to use that strength, you can throw so much harder than you should have been able to just by using the one dude who thought, like, head rips are good, right? Like, I'm doing this right. I need to rip his head down. That's a solid move. If he can grab a hold of him tight before it happens, I'm probably fucking my teammate, right? It's probably happening. So learning to use them against each other is a big deal. Same thing, one guy pushes real hard, all right, maybe I try to like hit him a soda guard because now I've got both of our force pushing into him, right? Use the push-pull of one against the other. Anything else on that?
Just recognizing that in a 2-on-1 situation, it usually starts 1-on-1 and it goes like to a 2-on-1. If they are smart, they're going to that 180 engagement. But generally, if I am here, and this is currently a 1-on-1, I feel this pressure from behind. The first thing that I want to do is I want to get my back to the rail. Like, this is just kind of basic scenario because one, it doesn't allow him to control my arm anymore. I can defend if he's going to be striking me with an axe. I can get that double point of contact control. Just remember, you don't want to stay. I don't want to stay like this in this engagement because there's a lot of bad shit that can happen from there. Just remembering to turn into and meet those guys. This is much safer right here.
Yeah. And then the last two things I had, one, we already kind of went over, use your opponents as rails. That's part of using them against each other, getting your point, or like getting your anchor on both of them and using them against each other. You can use that rail to power your throw, just like you can use a normal rail. And in fact, if the dude's pulling you, you can use it even stronger than a normal rail. So we'll see that a lot. But the final thing is punish mistakes. That is how you're going to win the 1v2 almost every time. It's not going to be because we both walked up here like this, and then Craig was like, yeah, but look how strong I am, right? It's not going to happen. He's not going to pull me off the rail just because Adam's here, right? He might pull Adam off, he's small. Anyway, Okay, so when we talk about punishing mistakes, that mistake, 9 times out of 10, is going to be that you didn't follow the second rule I said in 2v1, which is stay on the goddamn rail. All right? And almost always, it will be the person behind. All right? One of the, like, this is, if you watch me win 2v1s or 1v2s, I guarantee you they almost all was this. I went like this, and I fought him, and and then he does this. And I go, and I hit this. Every single time, the person behind you will get done. Be patient, break the person down, don't leave the rail. If you're the one, you feel him leave the rail, throw it. All right? I think that covers the principles. You got anything, last words on this one?
Generally when there's a lot, but generally when I'm in the one position, I am looking for those mistakes. So usually I will focus my energy on who I consider is the smarter fighter, or whoever feels the better fighter. And like I said, I still want my back on the round, but I might let this guy come behind me a little bit. I still feel confident that I have control and I don't feel like he can hurt me and I don't feel like he's doing anything effective a lot of the times. I might let that happen because I do want to create that mistake. Okay, so a couple other things too, just from this one position. This is where the rail roll becomes super powerful. Like if these two guys are really solid fighters and they're fighting and they're going through different moves and shit, and I'm like, oh shit, these guys are decent, I might boom right here. And so now what does this guy have to do to come back to meet me? If he wants the 180, if he wants to come meet me, guess where he's got to go? He's got to go into a little bit of a danger position. One, it saves me time, but it also, if he tries to engage me across here, it again gives me another rail throw position. If I come here, I'm going to catch this guy and try to get that rail throw. So we're always constantly looking for how to get people off the rail. In that one position, that rail roll is a great tactic. One, it gets a little bit of pressure off of you. Two, it gives you another offensive chance to make something happen.
Yep. I think that covers it. So, like I said, these are just the principles. We wanted to go over this so we don't have to talk about this after lunch. We can move into things a little bit quicker. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have 12 rounds of grappling, and then lunch will break for an hour or so. I don't know what time it'll actually be. I'll give you an actual time when it's...
Hey, what time is it? What time is it now? What?
12:45.
12:45, so it'll be around